Ooh, we have a visitor. That's Chitara. And she's gone already. She's very shy. Yes, another unboxing of a cheap kettle. I don't know where I got all these boxes from, but it's a bit of a mad panic. I've been collecting games since probably the early 90s, I reckon. So there was a lot of stuff to pack up. Oh look, it's Amiga. Hello mate. So what we got today? Humpty Dumpty and Cock Robin. What's that say? Age guide 7 to 10. Ah well. So see if we can make out any of the screenshots. Better than anything on the Spectrum, similar, ditto. We're doing well already, right. This Llamasoft game doesn't have the wrinkly case. Maybe I got all my Llamasoft games from someone else. And this one was from a different seller. Now we're not doing well here, actually. Very bright at the moment. So, Grid Runner on a C64. Early game. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Very basic though, technically. Oh, now the battery's flashing already. Oh no! Let's talk about Ghostbusters then before the battery goes. I got Ghostbusters and Rescue on Fractalus as a Christmas present from my sister. However, what they don't know is I actually found them before Christmas Day, before they were even wrapped up. They were hidden in my mum's early 80s, late 70s style wardrobe, and I think they were in the middle section under the small bath towels. So I loaded them both up, tried them both out, and then went back and loaded Rescue on Fractalus and left that loaded up for like, I don't know, overnight or something, until I wanted to load a different game. So obviously back then I thought Rescue on Fractalus was better than this. Actually, looking at the screenshots, again, it's better than anything on the putrid fucking Spectrum. Wow, that's really scratched up, isn't it? I think that's glue residue. Yeah, they probably had some sort of sticker. Ah well. On-court tennis. I wish I was playing this instead of passing shot. That was fucking horrendous conversion of an arcade game that's really a bit of a gimmick. And they fucked up the gimmick on all the conversions for every home computer. This looks quite nice actually. Maybe if I do it like that. Maybe like that. Why is there so much goddamn reflection? But not much to say about the cover art on this. Here we're approaching the late 80s, are we? Where imagination went out the fucking window. Ooh, it's a tennis game. Let's have a picture of some prick playing tennis in front of a tennis court with a... Anyway. Chimera. Never had this. Some sort of isometric game. So it proves if we wanted that rubbish Night Lord piece of shit, we could have had it on the C64, because this isn't that slow. Not my kind of game. And famously, the bloke who was doing the Atari 8-bit conversion of Manic Miner, Homebrew, he stopped doing that when he got to about 90% complete and decided he should do a conversion of this to the Atari, or a better conversion, I can't remember which. Next. 2 Ghostbusters. better than one Ghostbuster, innit? Got more chance. Go racing with Peter O'Sullivan. Well, only if he's paying for all the bets. Otherwise, yeah, this is not a great game, and the cover art is not that imaginative. What can you say, really? You want to see the GGs? I know, so do I, mate. Not exactly Shadowfax. Perhaps they should have got the Shadowfax animators in there. Very early game, and these were quite cheap actually. I think Commodore games were like £7 in Argos. Ah, Decathlon. Before Daley Thompson's, there was the Decathlon, which was doing the rounds at the in the schoolyard amongst the Spectrum owners with their copies. Obviously looks better, sounds better, plays better on the C64. Let's face it, how many Spectrum owners fucked up their keyboard playing these kind of games? Serves them right for buying the wrong fucking computer. Ah, yes, this is a classic, mate. Now the Patreon pricks will go on and on about Tamagochi. However, this is where it all started, mate. And it all started on the C64 by David Crane, Mr. Pitfall. House on a disc, literally. The tape version is more limited because it has to load the whole thing into the memory. Whereas on the disc version, it is sort of like a multi-load. Still fantastic, and still every Patreon prick who goes on about Tamagotchi and shit like that never mentions it, because they're too fucking young. They're the PlayStation generation. Lazy Jones, yes. This is kind of a compilation. There's a hell of a lot of rooms. I can't remember if it would bloody focus. Doesn't say how many rooms, does it? Goddamn battery's gonna run out and I can't read how many rooms there are. There's a hell of a lot of rooms. It's almost like cassette 50. But with some brilliant David Whittaker music, which famously those knobheads from Zombie Nation with their Kerncraft 400 tune, which blatantly ripped off a couple of Sid tunes on here. There's about 25 on here. This is better value for money than any album from the time. Wolf, fuck Madonna. And we got 2 copies, and I've also got this in a regular cassette format, just so you know. Creative Sparks, not very well known for their technical prowess on the C64. Bit of a Llamasoft thing going on there. No, the artwork isn't that bad. This room is not great for doing these videos. Fully scrolling screen. Read it and weep, Spectrum owners. Oh, Revenge of the Mutant Camels. Being a Llamasoft game, it's obviously going to have a bit of a weird disjointed cover going on there. But it does actually sort of match the gameplay, I must admit. Iconic game, famously on my friend's tape deck. It would take ages to load. I think on his copy, on one side there was a slow loader after the fast loader, so if the fast load failed, it would take about 15 minutes to load. But if he had the tape deck exactly 2.5 flowers to the southwest of his C64 on the floor on the carpet, it would load. There we go. Countdown to Meltdown. Now this was obviously released on the Mastertronic Added Dimension label, which is where I got it from, but this is the original release. Again with the no screenshots. But the artwork's is alright actually. It's quite small, the actual area of the artwork. Southern Belle, I couldn't give a shit if this was on the Spectrum or the C64. Is it for the C64? Yes it is. Dirt! Piece of shit. Ah yes, Havoc. This could actually be the copy that my mate had to give me after my copy of Punchy and Xylogon that we swapped over the weekend was stolen from his gym bag. I know who did it. Paul James, you cocksuckers. I know it was you, mate. That's why I had to beat you up, innit? Even though I never got them games back. And it took me 35 fucking years or whatever to get Punchy on the regular standard cassette format, not the Commodore branded Clamshell. So you look at these screenshots, you think, yeah, wicked graphics, must be like Zaxxon. Absolutely fuck all like Zaxxon. Apart from the fact that it's isometric, and when things blow up near you, the fucking handling turns to shit. Come on, man, just fucking get in focus, innit? Now I wish there was a title page like this on the actual loading screen, but there isn't. Wicked explosions on it though. Another early game. Dynavision only made one game, and I suspect it was owned by the guy who programmed it. Buck Rogers. He's a lucky bastard, mate. Fucking missing out the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th and most of the 25th century. Luckily for him, the millennials died out. I have to suffer them cocksuckers walking around without a face mask on non-urgent business now with a government fucking seal of approval, spreading that dirt virus that's gonna kill me. But yeah, this looks blocky as fuck, but it plays alright. It's not really that much like the arcade game. Planet of Zoom by Sega. The first hardware, was it the first? Hardware scrolling, hardware scaling arcade machine. Hardware by Sega. I think it was. I don't think it was Turbo. I think it was Buck Rogers' Planet of Zoom. And it was actually an analog circuit. So yeah, I don't really know what to make of this. I can't see through the camera because for some reason it's coming out really bright on the camera, but it's not that bright in here. I can't remember this game, you know that. Couldn't tell you if it's good or bad, never had this. Very boring cover artwork. Hey, we've had Crazy Kong already. Encounter. This is the 8-bit version of Backlash. Like a lot of Nova Gen games, the Atari 8-bit version was actually better, and this isn't a dual format cassette. So I played this on my mate's Atari all the time, but I never bought it for my C64. So yeah, it's not a bad game on the Atari, but can't actually remember. You getting dizzy yet? I hope you haven't had a few whiskies, otherwise you're fucked, man. Ooh. Treasure hunt without a naked picture of Annika Rice. So pretty fucking worthless. It is Annika Rice, isn't it? I'm sure this is that Annika Rice thing. I wonder if you can see these on YouTube. I'd rather see Annika Rice fucking naked than the screenshots of this game anyway. View to a kill. The Sid tune is not bad. The game is average and a bit difficult, so kind of like Raiders of the Lost Ark on the VCS from the difficulty point of view and complexity. Great screenshots. What's this? IFLI? You fucking wankers. I know what the film's like, so obviously the graphics are shit because there's no screenshots. Mayhem, never had this. Don't even think I played it, although I could be wrong. Is it a Super Pipeline rip-off, you reckon? Don't know what Egbert stroke Humpty Dumpty's got to do with Mayhem, but is that a bell in the corner? What the fuck? Quite comic book art. It's kind of ink style there. Here we go, this is Punchy, which I've had for yonks. I've had this since the 90s. But this isn't the version I had. You'll have to check out my Holy Grail shit unboxing, horrible unboxing, whatever it's called, video. As you can see, maybe in a very blurry fashion as you're getting a migraine. It's a Hunchback rip-off. And the artwork's actually different on that, so I don't like that version. International 10, here you go. Fuck that passing shot, this is what you should have had. Or on-court tennis. Now, international basketball is actually... Hang on, what am I fucking saying? This is international basketball. You blind bastard. There we go, yeah. There we go, we're getting way too much glare from this thing. I can't actually get it, so there's no glare. Perhaps the paint is too bright a colour in here. But this is bloody brilliant. I had this, I played it all the time, and it's actually more fun than international soccer as a one-player game, and just as much fun as a two-player game. Go and get it on eBay now. Oh, I had Hero. Hero's brilliant on the C64. Also had Whirly Nerd, which isn't in here because it's double. Good news. Camera's charged enough to finish off these shitty cover art games in the box videos that I'm doing. And I found a disk drive cable. Bad news is the disk drive cable is for the Atari 800, which is bad news for you, but not for me, if I could get the damn thing working. So I found the Atari 800, and I've got a boxed Atari 800. So one of those must have the almost identical looking but not suitable PSU for the computer. Let's go. Danger Mouse. In double trouble, the better of the two Danger Mouse games. It's actually not bad. For the time, I had this on my C64. There's nothing wrong with Danger Mouse artwork. Not very imaginative, I suppose, but it is a cartoon, so you're not going to have an airbrush picture of Danger Mouse, are you? What's it say there? Ooh, competition and free poster offer. Bit late though. Doesn't have any screenshots. I can't remember if there's only 3 or 4 levels. There's not a lot actually. But yeah, it's alright. A bit spectrum-y, doesn't really push the C64, but yeah, as a kid I liked Danger Mouse. I thought it was great, and there's definitely worse games on the C64. And next we have Moon Buggy, which is what I actually thought Moon Patrol was called when I was a kid. I thought it was actually Moon Buggy. Years later, I found out it's not Moon Buggy, it's Moon Patrol, but this is Moon Buggy. And actually, everything about this game is alright, except for the fact you can't move left and right. If they'd only sorted that out, it'd be quite good. But the graphics are big and bold, certainly better than Moon Patrol on the C64, which was probably 20-30 quid now in Atari, because Commodore had to manufacture the ROMs for them. Classic. But Battle Through Time is what you want for the C64 if you want that kind of thing for manual. Yes, here we go, Crazy Kong, another copy for the VIC-20. So there's no escaping it. One day I'm going to have to play Crazy Kong on the VIC-20 on real hardware. Is it unexpanded? Unexpanded. Horrendous probably. Never have any screenshots because they're always rubbish. And the artwork's pretty shit as well. And why's Kong got fucking lipstick on? Not really, why is the camera doing that? Picking up those reflections. This is terrible. Go that way. No, whichever way I turn the camera, even though there's only one window in this room, don't really matter actually. You either see the camera or me and the camera. Dirt. Right. Now this is interesting. This is the artwork for Crazy Kong on the C64, which I fucking wasted a week's worth of pocket money on. No, week and a half. It's a 1983 game, isn't it? God damn it, I thought I brought my reading glasses. I did bring my reading glasses. Damn it, I can't find the, if there's a copyright date on it. Will it be on the cassette? Is it meant to have all these things on there? I think it is actually. I thought it was a kid with marker pen, but it's just rubbish design. There's a fucking copyright date on this shit. Yeah, see, 1983. It's the first year of my C64 ownership. That guy looks a bit weird, actually. Looks a bit like Nostalgia Nerd. First thing in the morning. Especially if he'd stop dyeing his bright ginger hair black. Next. Oh, how imaginative. A fucking cutout of a footballer. Don't think there's anyone famous. Just some generic footballer. And some fake newspaper in the back. Not the best bit of gremlin artwork I've ever seen. Is this a management game? I fucking hate football management games. Any kind of strategy game that doesn't have fucking it came from the desert or Rocket Ranger quality graphics, I couldn't really give a shit about, I'll be honest with you. Even Carrier Command was too boring for me. Yeah, it's probably because they use polygons, and polygons before the 3DO definitely were a bit shit. Actua Soccer on the 486 PC, that might be an exception, but I could certainly live without never playing it again. But yeah, I don't really know about this game. Maybe it's alright if you're mad about football, I don't know. I had international soccer, that was enough. Right, another copy of Encounter for the Atari, please. Nah, C64 again. Special delivery. Santa's Christmas Chaos. Creative Sparks, so there won't be any sprite multiplexing on that. It's not a bad picture actually. You could probably make quite a nice Christmas card out of that, illegally with your colour laser printer, except I can't go to the shops anymore until there's a vaccine. No screenshots, is there? No. Yeah, they've got the extra mile on the back as well. It's alright. That reminds me of Bewitched, that font. Yes. Speaking of not being able to go out to the shops, it's funny how 3 weeks ago a couple of humans were injected with the trial vaccine in the UK that they were all going fucking mental to tell me about. No one talks about that anymore. And yesterday they're talking about there may never be a vaccine. So I guess that was fucked. We've got another copy of Hero, which I've already discussed. But I didn't show you the screenshots. Now this is a game which is fun, whether you play it on the Atari 800, the Atari 2600, or the VCS as we used to call it back then, or the C64. It's just a fun game really. Don't really matter what you play it on. I don't do the Spectrum, so I couldn't tell you if there was a conversion and what it looks like. That's for you to find out as a Spectrum owner. But I doubt any Spectrum lovers will be watching any of my videos anymore. And who gives a fuck, mate? This copy of Laser Zone, yeah, see? I wonder if I bought all these Llamasoft games with the wrinkles on them from like one seller, or they came bundled with one of the 40 or so C64s I bought back in the day. Now it's important to remember I've been buying this shit from the early to mid 90s, when all my actual stuff got junked in a landfill in a foreign country, you dirty bastards. We've discussed that. Oh, Matrix, I played that twice, recorded it twice, and you can go and check that on my channel. It's very similar to Grid Runner. What does that say there? I prefer the artwork on Laser Zone, I must admit. But at least they're making an effort, so that's quite nice. Sort of 60s style sci-fi art. Black Hawk, the screenshots for this looked rubbish, I remember, on Game Base 64, so I don't know if I've ever bothered to play it. I'm a bit fussy about my C64 games, the way they look. Which is why I never had Bruce Lee, and I never played Bruce Lee until this decade. So, it doesn't show any screenshots. And Creative Sparks were not the best programmers ever. Ooh, HMV, look, $7.95. So not all C64 games were £10 at all. Don't listen to the Patreon pricks. And here we go, mate, here we go in this part 2 video. We have to make up the time, so bit of an easy target. Well, let's start with the sound effects. They're shit. Programming is very basic on this. I think this is 1983 though. God damn it. Yeah, it's 1983. I think this is his first game he used sprites with, and they are horrible sprites. And the Git never got back to doing a better version of this for the C64. So you should only be playing this on the Atari, where the camels do look like camel sprites, not like a fucking pantomime camel with two fucking idiots in a costume wobbling about the place. Alternatively, just go and play Empire Strikes Back on the Atari VCS, because that's basically what it is. But if you have an Atari 800, definitely play this on there. It's a brilliant game on the Atari 800. I love it on that. But the C64 game, now famously there is 2 versions of this game. One is labelled Attack of the Mutant Camels, and in an identical case with cover art and everything. Just this bit on the bottom says Advance of the Mega Camels. And that's your lot really. Ah well,